Hey guys, so today we are in this committee because we are faced with a problem. So, president from a third world country is coming to visit America. When asked what he wanted to see, he stated that he wanted to meet an average American teen and go to an average American high school. So, this committee was made so we could pick a student that is an average American teen
Right.
that could introduce America to this president. So, first, let's establish some criteria. Monis, what do you think describes an average American teen?
I think above average grades represents an average American teen because Americans
Mhm.
strive for good grades and they try very hard.
So basically, what you're saying is that the student should have good grades because, while we're representing the average American student, we need to make sure that the student is, bright. Because as you said, all average student or all American students strive to be the best they can be.
Right.
Nikhil, what do you think?
Going back to what Mona said, I think they should be AB students, and on top of this, I think they should be like good people, have morals, and I think they should just welcome adversity and go through it like properly, and just have a good attitude.
So just as someone that is well-natured, behaves well,
Right.
a good student, but also a good person.
Right.
Shrihan, you have
I
anything
think
to add?
people or the teens should be helpful towards others and not only focus on themselves.
Yeah, I agree. It's important to be helpful for this team because they're helping this president understand America. So yeah, something I would like to add is I believe the student should be average.
Right.
I understand that we want a good student that represents America, but at the same time, we need the student to be average because while there are these students that are very smart, very good at sports, we need to represent the average American teen,
Right.
not just like a random, not a really smart student, the
Right.
average American teen.
Better well-rounded than
Really focused on one area.
right.
So basically what we came up with, good grades, average, a good person in general, and
Right.
friendly. Okay, so now let's discuss what would be some problems teens in general would face when meeting with a president of a country. Monis.
I feel like they might be informal or possibly even too formal towards the president.
I agree because they might try to make the president, feel like regular, feel at home, and maybe make some jokes that aren't culturally appropriate, or in general, just behave in a way that's too friendly. That may differ with the way that people behave in this person's country.
right.
Yes.
But then at the same time, when you say too formal, you mean like someone they're not giving them the true experience, right?
Yeah.
Like someone that's like, oh my sir, like just talking like that in general and behaving in a way that doesn't represent the way an American teen would behave.
Right.
That's a good point.
I think maybe a problem could maybe be like maybe the teen doesn't want to spend time with the president. Maybe like even ditches him in some cases.
Yeah. See, that's important because we want this president to have an average experience, but at the same time, we want this
Right,
president to be with this teen to understand America.
The president needs to feel like valued and important while he's
Important,
here.
yes. Shrihan?
I think the teen has the problems could be that the teen is too overconfident with the president.
Yeah, because, it is a third world country and we are America. But we need to make sure that not only does this teen obviously, talk about himself too much, but we have to make sure that he doesn't seem condescending, almost
Right.
talking about America too much to the point where it's like, yo, America's number one.
Have a respect
Like
for the other
bragging
country
Have respect.
and for the president himself.
Yeah, so adding on to that, I believe that a problem that this this teenager might have is like a cultural disconnect.
Yes.
Like, we just need to make sure that this student understands how things, just a little research on the country to make sure everything that they're doing is socially acceptable. Even little things like shaking hands that might not be the way they do it in their country.
And I think some background research should be done to ensure that nothing culturally disparate should happen.
Okay, so now let's try to narrow down the amount of students. So who do y'all think should be the students? Who do you think is an average student, Monis?
I think Bahir Haddad is an average student because he has decent grades, an AB student. He is active in debate. Yeah.
Yeah, Nikhil, who do you think it is?
I think Jacob Jones should be it because I think he's very active in like environmental stuff, and I think he loves environmental stuff, and he's loved by everybody. He's loved by his fellow students, and he's loved by his teachers. And also, he has good grades or okay grades. He's an average C student, and he also he rides a motorcycle, and he has visible tattoos, which could show the president how teen life is in America.
Okay, so addressing, I understand your pick, why you picked the student, and he may seem like a good student, but then going back to what we said about like cultural norms, having a motorcycle, having tattoos, in general, that might.
I think you could show like how
Like
the cultures are different, and how some may perceive the average American teen.
See, but once again, so like what we associate with average, I understand your point. You're making a good point. But like tattoos, motorcycle, we just don't want to give the wrong appearance.
Yeah.
And then you said
seems
C
too
student.
gang-like. Yeah.
Yeah, we need the student to be average, because he's right. He has a fair point. Because like in from this person's country, that tattoos and motorcycle, and then you said average C student.
Yeah,
So once again,
but he tries really hard.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
However, we want an A, B student, as you stated earlier, because it's just important. I understand your point. I completely understand where you're coming from, but like an A to B student, if we have them, is preferable because we want this
Right.
student to. But
Jacob's
I'm
really nice,
I'm
too.
sure Jacob's a good student. I heard that he does environmental work.
Right. He was planning to take if he's accepted. He's planning to take this leader to like his own environmental project or like a recycling plant, which I think is really cool,
So-
and also shows more of that well-roundedness.
Yeah, so he's a good person. Shihan?
I think Ling Cho would be a great representative to be with the president because they are a very good student and is respectful towards others.
Yeah,
And this is shown by their good grades and how much they pay attention in class.
I
Yes.
think one problem that could arise with Ling Cho is that she doesn't have that many friends compared to others such as Bahir and Jacob, and I think that could not show show as much of the average teen as we would like, American teen as we would like.
Yeah.
Okay, so my point of view, I agree with Monis. I believe that Bahir is a really good student to represent America because of his grades and the way he acts in general.
Right.
So let's narrow it down to two students. Who do y'all believe? Bahir and Ling Cho?
I think Jacob Jones
I
could
think
also be in the
Jacob
final two.
Jones and
Bahir?
Bahir because Ling Cho is shy sometimes and might not be able to cooperate with
The inability to communicate is very valid in Ling Cho.
Yeah, so I believe
I think that's very big of you for conceding your argument.
So I think
Thank you.
I think it would be Bahir and Ling Cho. However, what do you believe, Monis?
I
Ling Cho
believe
or-
that it is Bahir because he.
The top two.
and a second.
Oh, the
Ling
top
Cho
two.
or Jacob Jones.
So I don't think it's Jacob Jones or I don't think it's Ling Cho.
Ling Cho?
No, it's not Ling.
It's
Cho.
not Ling Cho.
Yeah, because
I agree.
she doesn't have like many friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jacob Jones, he's more well-rounded than like Ling Cho. She's just smart,
Mhm.
but like Jacob Jones has more extracurricular activities such as the environmental work.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Okay, so we've come down to Bahir and Jacob.
So I would like to bring into a focus that Bahir got into a fight last year and he was suspended. Jacob Jones, while he has the appearance of a gangster, has never gotten into any trouble or has done anything to hurt any individual student. So I think
So-
Jacob Jones should be considered
Okay,
for
so
this
talking
job.
about Bahir, you mentioned a fight he's been in the
Yes.
last year.
Yes.
It's because recently one of his parents had died, and then someone was making fun, so he got in that fight. I understand.
I still think that he should have been able to control his
Control
emotions.
himself.
I understand, but like I feel that if something were to arise, even with the president next to him or with him, how would he deal with this
So I
situation?
would like to address something. So Bahir had been through anger management, obviously, after this fight. And then I've actually talked to Bahir personally about this issue. And he said that he's managed to control his anger now. So I think Bahir is the better option. So let's try making a pro-con list for each of the two people.
Right.
Bahir. So, but here he's an average student. A and B. He's good at debate, so he's well-rounded.
I think that's also a good extracurricular.
a good extracurricular, because speaking
Right, for
capability. But then his con is that he was in a fight last year, but he might have improved. But then looking at Jacob Jones, so looking at his pros, he's a nice student. He's never been in a fight or anything like that.
And all his parents, students, and teachers like him, and he's respected by the
Like-
student body.
And
Yes.
environmental.
Environmental.
Many
And he's an
other-
average C
But
student.
then let's look at his cons, because
He looks like a
His,
gangster.
his grades are a little
Yes,
below
Yeah,
he
yes.
has
average.
visible tattoos.
His
Yeah,
grades,
visible
his
tattoos
grades are a little
are
below
mostly-
average.
his grades are low.
I
So,
think
okay.
he could bring up his grades.
So
I don't
this
think
is
it's
my personal
possible to
belief.
bring it up from
Yeah,
a
he is.
C when you're a
He's a
senior.
senior, and the fact that he's had the C and has not improved, and Bahir has been making an effort to improve. In my
Stagnation.
opinion, just shows that Bahir is the.
You're right. I agree. I think Bahir is a better choice. Thank you for helping me realize my incorrect decision.
Okay,
I would
listen.
like to make. Can I make a point? Okay, so, Jones, Mr. Jones is
Jacob Jones.
yes, Jacob Jones. As you said, you don't want someone below average, and like Ling Cho, which is exceeding average with very good A grades, and Bahir has in between grades.
He's average.
Yes.
So he's
So-
like
And
So-
Jacob
he's
Jones
like
has
just
below
right,
grade-
like
below
Goldilocks.
grades.
Yeah.
Just
so
right.
Bahir is what we've decided.
Right.
Yes.
I agree. Thank you for helping me realize my
So,
decision.
what are some of the ways that we can help Bahir understand what he should say to the president?
I think Bahir's kind of an studious student, so I think he should be given some background knowledge on this president and where he comes from.
So just get like a general overview of the country so he can relate.
So, for example, if the country was like Nigeria or something, give him, give him.
A little bit of cultural background
Yeah.
to make
such
sure
as-
that he's not
such
insensitive.
as like their
Yes.
dances.
Yeah, just overall.
And make him more familiar with the president.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we just want to educate him about this country, customs, and of course, I believe that we should say that don't be too formal,
Right,
the
right.
president. Be just in between.
We don't want to
Just
make
Act
it,
like your
just-
regular self.
Just be
Yeah.
yourself. Yes.
We don't want. We don't want to make the president uncomfortable.
Yes.
So yeah,
All right, thank you guys.
thank
so
you.
We
Thank
picked
you for
Bahir.
hosting this discussion.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm cutting this.